Thank you very much for watching this video. Before we begin, I wanted to include a disclaimer, as I include in my about section as well as in the description of this video. All of my readings are for entertainment purposes only. They are never, ever meant to diagnose, treat, or otherwise have any influence upon your own medical issues or situations that you may have. I always encourage everyone to make their own sound decisions, including legal matters, financial matters, and every other matter in your own life. These are for entertainment purposes only. As these are general tea leaf readings, again, it makes sense, therefore, that some of this information will resonate with you and some of it may not. You may find that some applies and some doesn't. That is completely normal and to be expected, as these are general tea leaf readings. So again, take what you will and leave what you don't, and simply enjoy your reading and hope that you find it informative and insightful. Thank you. Hi everyone, I am back and this is being posted on time. Yay, I am so excited. How are you today? Yes, my name is Sarah. For those of you who are not aware, if you're watching for the first time, welcome. And this is a general bi-weekly tea leaf reading for the weeks of April 24th and May the 1st of 2023. If you have seen the previous two videos that I posted on this channel for March 27th and April the 3rd, and for the weeks of April 10th and 17th, good number. Thank you so much for watching them. I hope that they were helpful, even though they were posted certainly much of a delay. Again, it was just a series of delays, one thing after another, but we persevere, we carry on, and I was not going to not post videos, even though they are definitely retroactively, just to honor my commitment to you and to Creator, and just to get everything caught up, and we can still look at them retroactively and gain some insight, hopefully looking back at them in terms of our own experiences too. So thank you so much again for being here and for watching. I genuinely appreciate all of your time, your patience, your help, and your support. And without further ado, let's look at this tea leaf reading. Here are the tea leaves that I've just gotten ready for the next 2 weeks. We are looking at the end of April and heading into the month of May. If, like myself, you know about the Celtic calendar, and not just the Celtic calendar, but it is known to be May 1st, is known to be a festival called Beltane. So I'm wearing red in honor of Beltane because it is a fire festival. It welcomes and heralds and embraces and welcomes the beginning of the light half of the year. So in other words, like the beginning of like the warm season, certainly in certain parts of our realm. So I hope that you enjoy this tea leaf reading, and let's take a look and see, because I haven't even looked at the leaves yet. You got a sneak peek even before I got to see it. Let's go. It definitely looks like the next couple of weeks are going to be, well, I'm busy. I say that pretty much all the time anyway, but it is going to be fairly busy. But in the next couple of weeks, though, too, certainly as it stands right now for this week, we're going to be also having a lot of time that we can just pace ourselves. So as this week progresses, there's likely going, and heading into next week, the beginning of next week, I would say as well, there's going to be about 7 different scenarios where things again are calm and clear and quiet. We're able to pace ourselves. There's going to be some quiet times interspersed with some busyness, yes. However, it's all very manageable. Generally speaking, there's going to be 5 different scenarios in the next week, this coming week, and heading into next week, the beginning of next week too. There's going to be talking. There's these 5 scenarios involve a lot of conversations, thoughts of words, ideas, conversations. Things are still up in the air, as opposed to the main event or situation, which is being shown here. If you have seen any of my previous videos on this channel, you will know that this is a layout that I often see. It's almost like we get a bit of a reprieve, certainly in the next 2 weeks, where we are going to, yes, have some quiet time, but I would say use this time wisely that we all have. Use this time over the next week or so to get things that we need to get done. Get them completed, get things finished. If we've been procrastinating, get those things completed. It just gets us really in shape for what is to come in the next weekend. So that would be approximately, because the base is more of the distant future. So in terms of a bi-weekly tea leaf reading in this case, we're looking at the end of the week of May 1st. So looking around May 6th, 7th, and heading into the following week, which is May 8th. So heading into that time, it looks like it's going to be busier than what is being shown here in the sides of the cup. So a bit of a reprieve. We have a bit of a reprieve for the next 2 weeks. Sorry for the camera angle change there. I just increased my lighting so I can see the tea leaves better rather. And if I don't look directly into the camera, it's because the light is quite bright and it hurts my eyes sometimes. So that's why. I am looking now at the tea leaves, and let's start this reading. So looking at the week of, well, this week, so May 24th, it does appear that this week does begin quite... There's two main events or situations taking place, generally speaking, and as well as a very small, much of a small, minor one, very much of a small, minor situation. But again, two main scenarios where things are calm and clear and quiet, and we're happy with that, and or we want things to get moving a bit more. This main event or situation does look like it does begin very soon. So I would say in terms of timing, probably looking at either Monday night or the latest Tuesday morning, the 25th. Looking at this main eventer situation, let's start there. There's a lot of thinking and talking. Things are very much still up in the air, a lot of conversations regarding those. But this main event, it is comprised, it's almost like a 50-50, or maybe even, I would say more of a 60-40 in terms of, it's very much of a busy situation. I'm not saying that it's not. It's just that there are a lot of conversations, thoughts, and ideas taking place, in addition to clarity, where we know where we stand, and things are like happening in front of us and we know what we're doing. Now, that said, there are still a number of surprises rather as this week unfolds, and this situation does begin very early this week, like I said, and does continue into May 6th, 7th, and heading into the 8th as well. So it starts down at this main situation. It does lead further for the next 2 weeks. In addition, like I said, to all of the other smaller scenarios. This main event, let's start and see what is taking place. Right away, we have an axe. There is reassurance that is being indicated. As a side note to this main event, there is stability that is being shown. Stability. So things, again, are good. There's reassurance. That is specifically is regarding one situation that's taking place, like tomorrow, like Monday, April 24th. There is someone with a prominent nose who is involved. Abundance and prosperity, happiness, and reassurance as well. There may be some form of relocating, but there is abundance with that, and there is protection and reassurance that is associated with that, as well as getting things organized. Tea leaf reading for me is literal, symbolic, and or both. So whether this is physically cleaning like your fridge or your closet, or symbolically getting things in order, maybe doing some shadow work, whatever the case is. But it really involves a sense of getting things organized and tidied up and sorted out in some way, shape, or form. But that is related to the main event or scenario. We do have a version of the number 7, so it's like esoteric spiritual knowledge, sacred knowledge that is present. That is involved with this reassurance that is being indicated. And we have a bit of a cheeky happy face here. So whatever the situation is, it is totally a good scenario. And it does involve paperwork documents of some kind. A few thoughts and words regarding that, and possibly a Cancerian connection. So and I wouldn't say that obviously this is not referring to timing. This is referring to someone who likely is that sign or the qualities of that sign. So for example, I'm no astrologer, but it's like the home and family, intuition, healing, things of that nature. Again, we have reassurances. There is a new beginning. There's a new opportunity that is being shown in here at the beginning of the week is part of this whole overall scenario. So if you're new to this channel or new to the way that I read tea leaves, it's like this mean a situation. Yes, it's one scenario overall, but it's almost like a tapestry. It's filled with all smaller individual scenarios. So that's what I'm saying. One of these scenarios is totally, for myself, what I'm saying, totally a new beginning, a new idea, a new concept, almost completely ready to go, very well formed, maybe not quite 100% ready, but I would say maybe 80% or so ready. And it does involve, again, a sense of reassurance, abundance, messages, news, and or information. Someone who is a helpful individual, potentially property. I would say property is involved. And if it is property, from what I'm seeing a taller house. So whether this is more like a high rise, a condo, an apartment, or even a multi-story house, like more higher than a bungalow potentially. But it is a very good scenario, and it's like an equal balance of giving and receiving. All involves an inheritance, a legacy, something to do with the home and or family. It's up to 4 different parts or aspects to it, however. But generally, it looks like it's a very good scenario. There is happiness, success, and being indicated. We also have abundance and prosperity. There very well could be, this is a spiritual scenario too. Like there's spiritual good news coming, good news. There's guidance from source. as always anyway, but we have a beautiful bird with its wings totally open, flying into the scenario. So if this is not referring to Scorpio, which I don't think it is, no, there could be a Scorpio connection, meaning that there may be a sense of like a new beginning, there may be a Scorpio involved, change, transition, new opportunities, things along those lines, which would make sense. But there's a sense of like a spiritual message, guidance, something along those lines. But receiving good news. There's good news being received regarding this. Letter K, potentially involved. C and M. This is involving new beginnings, new opportunities, unconventional stability. Even though there's one main new beginning, it also does involve conclusions, some smaller conclusions, blossoming. We are literally beginning to see the start of something really good and beautiful and new. Paperwork, close communication between two individuals, and this is something to do with, I would say, likely again, property potentially as well. Letter U involved. Now, are we back on smooching grounds? I can't say. I don't think so. But there are two people in close. No, it's possible, obviously, but I would say there's close communication definitely between two individuals regarding the scenario at the beginning of this week. I mean, we do have surprises throughout the whole scenario. A lot of messages, news, and or information involved. Again, we have another number 7. So there's some kind of spiritual sacred knowledge. Obviously, I'm no astrologer, but that number 7 may also have a meaning for you specifically, and if so, that's great. Something to do with the house and home, property, connection in some way. People in close communication, people openly communicating. Happiness. Being uninhibited, feeling uninhibited, going for whatever it is that you want to have, leap of faith, happiness, joyousness, success, happiness. Things are blooming beautifully. A Cancerian connection. Reassurance and protection. There is a conclusion here involved with that. There may also be a scenario where there is either a physical pregnancy, and if you hear a little sound in the background, that's Bree walking around, our baby chocolate lab. Oh, she's coming for cuddles. Oh, so cute. Hi, Bee. Good girl. So cute. So Bree is now going to be part of the tea leaf reading, as she often is anyway. But yes, there may be a sense of either physical pregnancy, or if not that, then a sense of creativity, new beginnings. It is a very good scenario though, however, and there may be a small level of completion. There's also a person, place, or thing with a letter S. This is likely a person, and they also have a letter L in their name. So L, S, and U, letter U. There's also reassurance regarding that, but really a sense of moving forward, going for whatever it is that we want to have, not feeling. Number 4, which may have a personal meaning to yourself as well. That involves likely almost like receiving something tangible, almost like in the mail, something tangible. But that does also involve open communication between two people, as well as protection, abundance, and some form of reassurance. Open communication. There is a surprise that involves the letter W, and I'm only going to say this the last time for the sake of not being repetitive. However, there are many helpful people throughout this entire scenario. This surprise involves the number 3. Yes, helpful people. Some money that appears when the individual scenario does conclude. It does appear to be very magical. It's a beautiful dragon here that's flying. A lot of reassurance, strength, protection involved as well, and unconditional love. Open communication between 4 people. So 2 people communicating and then another 2 people communicating. Letter J, and happiness. Almost like you're crying happy tears with that, which is really nice. Letter W again. I won't say this for the sake of being repetitive. However, there are many people communicating. There's a lot of open communication taking place this week and next week. We have a small scenario where getting things organized, tidied up, and that does involve reassurance and beautiful divine messages as well. Beautiful information, divine guidance. There's also many conclusions and new beginnings that are taking place at the beginning of this week and throughout this week. Scenario that involves abundance and prosperity, as well as getting things organized, reassurance, letter U, going for whatever it is that we want to have, not being inhibited, forward movement, letter C, and again the number 4. There really is a sense of speed and action, but a lot of protection, a lot of reassurance. So if for whatever reason, if you're watching and if you feel like you've been asking for or needing or wanting some level of reassurance, all I can say is God, Source, Divine Creator, it keeps showing references to reassurance and protection. Doesn't mean like, oh, we're in danger. It just means that reassurance is a message that is being conveyed by Source for the next 2 weeks. A reminder that the angels are around us. There is a connection with the letter T and the letter U. And that the angels are around us. Call upon them should you wish to. Ask them for some help. And then there's also is a reminder that they are around as well in this scenario specifically. The letters E and or F and J, Y, and maybe even the number 4 and U. All of those letters are connected. It's a very loving, harmonious scenario. Paperwork. That individual scenario does result in partnerships, but there's another property connection. Action, speed, and movement. Reassurance, taken care of. And also learning education. Creativity, happiness, and a positive venture. If you're helpful people, and again, a sense of reassurance and speed and action, momentum, things taking place rather quickly. There are surprises involved in everything that I've just been talking about. Things that we're not supposed to know right now. But it does involve a lot of positive news, information, messages, seeing versions of the number 4 and the letter Y. There is someone with a prominent nose, longer hairstyle. I don't know if this is referring to a woman or not. And it does have a letter L associated with that individual. And then letter J, helpful people and knowing that there's reassurance and a love. I keep seeing the same messages. Doesn't mean anything bad or wrong. It just means that it seems like these are consistent messages rather for this entire first week and also heading into next week as well. And happiness as well. Person, place, or thing with the letter S involved. That's actually involved in the angelic scenario that I just mentioned a moment ago. And my focus right now is on half of the main scenario where there was a lot of clarity and also surprises at the same time too. But also a sense of happiness, jubilation, excitement, things going well. The letter E involved in that scenario. And T, possibly a Scorpio connection, location, house, open communication. A new opportunity that involves property, wisdom, learning, and the letter H, fast-paced messages. That scenario does involve, again, there's just a lot of abundance and prosperity taking place over the next couple of weeks. Right now I'm looking into next week. Partnerships, a lot of happiness. The letter U again, this is regarding a female specifically. There's a helpful individual in that scenario though. A lot of communication, abundance and prosperity. It keeps saying it. I won't stop saying that because that's always a very nice thing to see too. Keep seeing the letter W. And as we go down a little bit further into the cup, again, a lot of abundance and prosperity. Taking a leap of faith. There is a scenario where there is a sense of abundance and prosperity with getting things organized, cleaned up, tidied up, sorted out, and taking a leap of faith regarding that. And there is positive news that is happening at that time regarding that momentum. A very positive situation. Keep seeing the letter U and abundance and prosperity. Messages, news, and or information, creative projects going very well into the following weekend. So approximately May 6th and 7th in this scenario here. Letter J and or S, possibly the number 5, but letter C, really getting things tidied up. A fortuitous situation that does involve the number 4, action, momentum. Keep seeing it. Now, let's quickly look back up at the top and work our way down very quickly and see what is taking place. It does appear as though the half of the scenario that is rather quiet, well, not quiet exactly, but there are a lot of things up in the air, a lot of conversations. In that scenario, this week does begin with a very loving situation. So the week progresses. W, Y, and or V letters involved. Helpful individuals, learning, open communication. I keep seeing references to messages, news, and or information, and quite often I keep seeing that we're going to be getting things tangibly. Being introspective, taking time out for your own self-care, for your own self, quiet time, forward movement. A lot of helpful people. Letter G, there literally may be a time, a situation where we're like, let's go, let's do this. So that is regarding potentially either U or W, those letters, open communication. It involves documents, a writing of some kind of paperwork that's involved. M, like M as in Magdalene. Letter E, good scenario, receiving very good things, unconventional stability. A good situation, a lot of happiness regarding that. So hope that is of some help specifically in that scenario. Around the latter part of next week, maybe around the Thursday to Friday thereabouts, I would say that there is a scenario taking place. It looks to be all-encompassing. It is one scenario, however, there is a section or a part of it that is separate in itself, but it is associated with it. And that actually begins, I would say, maybe the most Tuesday, if not Wednesday, of next week. And that does carry forward into that scenario happening around Thursday or so of next week. So Tuesday or Wednesday. It does involve happiness, Scorpio connection. Letter J, reassurance. C, house again, property. Open communication, reassurance, a lot of reassurance. Keep doing what you need to do. You have all the tools that you need to complete tasks. You have everything that you need in order to achieve your goals, to do what you need to do. All you have to do is just do it, essentially. What you feel is right and go for whatever it is that you want to have. Abundance and prosperity, a lot of action with this. A lot of helpful people, a lot of messages. Almost like some of us may be receiving, again, receiving something tangible. There's a lot of reassurance. For some reason, God, divine, the divine source creator, Mother and Father God, whatever name or names you're comfortable with using, I keep seeing references from source about reassurance. So we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. But I just keep seeing in different scenarios as the whole week, next 2 weeks in this case, unfold. As of now, I keep seeing references to reassurance. Now, you may wonder what I mean by that, what images I see. Now, for myself, it depends on the scenario, the individual groupings. However, for myself, reassurance, one of those images are an axe, is an axe, like an axe. In other words, you have a tool that you have in your hand to achieve what you want to achieve. There's nothing holding you back. All you have to do is just chop away the wood, for example, in that case, to get what you want to have. There's reassurance involved. It's like you're not without something. You have what you need in order to achieve that one thing that you need to do. So one image that I keep seeing when I say that, I'm just explaining to you just so you have an idea of what I'm seeing physically. A lot of axes repeated throughout the next 2 weeks. So let's see what that is regarding as the next 2 weeks unfold. I am very curious, but it doesn't mean anything bad. It just means that there is reassurance and that there really is nothing. So it's a reminder, a beautiful reminder from Source to not worry and to trust in ourselves and to trust Source. So that's what I would say. Off my soapbox, but I keep seeing it. So I'm always very happy when I see axes because they are a symbol for me anyway. That means reassurance. It's very calming when I see axes. It means like, okay, everything is fine. It's never about being passive and saying, oh, it's fine. I don't have to do anything. No. It means that you do have what you need. You have all the tools, you have all the skills and the knowledge and the abilities to achieve what you want to achieve. You just have to physically do it. So moving on. There are a lot of surprises rather associated with this entire scenario. So we're not supposed to know what they are exactly as of yet, but it does involve working with many different people. It is a fairly short-term scenario. A few parts of it, a few sections of it do lead into the base, but it does look like it, for the most part, it does conclude, I would say, by Thursday or Friday or so of next week. There's a small conclusion, again, letter Y that's involved, the number 4. Being repetitive, but a lot of messages, news, and or information, some of which is actually very fast-paced. Number 3, going for whatever it is that you want to have. Small reminder for perspective, but a lot of open communication. So it looks like a lot of people are openly communicating. Someone who is a Scorpio involved. That involves paperwork. Letter L, helpful individuals, taking some time out for your own self-care. Letter S and U involved. Letter L, happiness. And there's a happy scenario that involves unconventional stability, moving forward, going for whatever it is that you want to achieve. And writing. A lot of fast-paced movement. Nothing's stopping us. Things are going well. Again, it is a fairly short-term scenario. Number 3 and or 8 that's involved in the number 4. Likely 3 and or 8. Positive news. A lot of helpful people. Partnerships. Again, a few occasions of writing documents, paperwork. An Aries and or a Taurus connection involved in that specific scenario as well. And again, the letter L, working with many people. Now we're heading into the base. Essentially, we have a beautiful tree, a very large tree. I'm always very happy and excited whenever I see trees in the base of tea leaf readings, because it means to me that the more distant future, so in this case, next weekend, so approximately May 6th, and 7th and heading into the following week, is absolutely filled with abundance. And then this is related specifically to the main event or a situation that we have been looking at. And it does continue in 2 different ways, 2 different aspects. from that main event flow into next weekend and heading into next week, specifically regarding this abundance and prosperity. As you can see the tree here. I'll take pictures and include them in this video at the end of the video, but it is a beautiful tree. Now, this means for myself, anyway, a lot of abundance, as I've just said. It is highly significant. This is something that I have not seen in a very long time, to be honest. And it is a beautifully shaped tree, and it's quite large. Now, it's still forming. Major surprises on the way. We're just not supposed to know them. But we are supposed to know, I would say, that it is a very, very positive, prosperous scenario. Very heartfelt, very loving. There may be a situation that involves this where it may seem like it's a very small scenario, but it actually leads to very big things. Even though something may be small and may seem rather insignificant, it actually leads to huge things. And that's what I'm seeing here. Positive news in two different ways, but related to the same message. Someone who is a male, but I don't know what that is referring to rather. However, there are a lot of different partnerships. There are many people involved in this whole scenario. Yes, well, and as I said, there are two main situations resulting from this week that do head into this specifically, which also include the number 4 again. It's just that, yes, that's true, but there are many different scenarios from this entire 2 weeks that do lead into this situation in that weekend in the base. So essentially in 4 different ways. There's likely a Scorpio connection, so changes, new beginnings, intuition, introspective, many helpful people, positive movement forward, going ahead, nothing stopping you. A lot of unconditional love, support, loyalty, commitment, protection, and reassurance, going for whatever it is that you want to have. A woman with the letter E in her name, maybe L, but definitely E. And she's very wise. Again, this could be referring to you or to someone else. It may be a departed loved one, but I would say likely not. A lot of conversations, thinking and talking regarding this one, abundance and prosperity. Yes, there's like 5 different ways, 2 main ones that relate from this week into that situation, the next 2 weeks that lead into that scenario. But it's almost like it aspects so many different things that are influencing it, that lead to it. It's almost like abundance is being attracted into this one scenario. There's this phoenix also in the base. So it's a tree, but it's also a phoenix. Abundance and prosperity, positive, significant changes. Change, transformation, new beginnings. So I'm very excited to see what it's going to actually be. Again, God's source creator does not want us to know exactly what this is, other than to say is, yes, there is a lot of abundance coming, and it's a very, very, very positive scenario that involves very good change. So just please know that there are many helpful people. There's a lot of divine help present. All we need to do is ask for that divine assistance. Please know that it is a very positive scenario. There's a lot of reassurance regarding this, and there are positive messages, news, and or information, loving harmoniousness, and unconditional love that is present. There is also the letter S and or 5 and 4. Oh, there's a 4 and 5. 45. Well, that's interesting. So let's leave that there. Hope that you enjoyed this tea leaf reading. If so, please do consider giving this channel a subscribe if you haven't yet already. My heartfelt thanks so much to you for watching and for all of your help and support. I know even just simply watching this video, even clicking that like button, hitting that bell for future updates, and it really helps. Even though they seem very small, it really helps the algorithms and helps to get this message out there. Thank you so much again. I so appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing 2 weeks. I am posting a channel update in the next couple of weeks, at the very latest next week, and so there's a lot of things that I'm working on in the background still. So I've gotten myself pretty much caught up, and I still have a few other things that I need to do in terms of videos, but I do have a community tab now. So I'll be posting in there very soon too. For now, I will sign off, but thank you so much again for all of your help, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Love you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. As promised, here are pictures from this tea leaf reading. I took a few different angles so that you can have a better idea of what the cup looks like, and there's a tree. Thank you so much again for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting. Thank you so much to all of my supporters of this channel. Every single one of you mean the absolute world to me, and I thank you so much. Have an amazing day, and see you soon.